I'm going to tell you what makes your ex realize they love you. Now, this is after they've broken up with you. And people will often say, but I don't want someone who could break up with me, which I understand. But at the same time, we are all human. We all make mistakes, and sometimes we lose sight of things. Sometimes we don't even know what we want. And so what I'm saying is that if you want your ex back, you will probably hear people say, you don't ever want to take them back because they could do this to you. And while I agree that you don't want to be with someone who does not want to be with you, it's quite a different matter when the other person comes to realize how they actually feel about you. And that's where, yes, we all need to extend grace and forgiveness to people because no one is perfect. And you have probably messed up in relationships or in this relationship that you're wanting back. It's almost certain simply because you're human. And so the very fact that they broke up with you is not necessarily a reason that you just shouldn't ever get back together with them. So here's why your ex realizes they love you. When it happens, here's how it happens. First is that your ex realizes it's possible they could lose you. And after a breakup, of course, the thought is, well, why do they care if they lose me? They broke up with me. It doesn't matter to them. That's what they wanted. They wanted to lose me. Actually, they didn't want to lose you. What they wanted was control, which is the opposite of loss. As I've given the example before, it's like a dictator who has all the power, and all you can do is ask for mercy. You're in the position of loss. The dictator is in position of control over everything about you. And so when you apply the no contact rule, when you stay away, when you focus on yourself and you don't even make an appearance, you're not caught looking at one of their Instagram stories or anything like that, that's when your ex starts to feel that maybe it's not within their control. Because if you were reaching out to them, if you were begging, pleading, sending gifts, talking to their friends, looking at their social media that they're aware of, that's where they feel totally in control. You want them back, and they know that if they ever decide that they want to get back together, you'll be right there, ready and willing. And that may be the truth. So I'm not asking you to change that right away because that's not something you can just change in an instant. It's not flicking on and off a switch, or else you wouldn't be watching this video. But when your ex gets to a point when they haven't heard from you, they don't know how you feel, and so they're not sure if they could get you back if they wanted you. And that's a small thing. It's different from wanting you back, but it does give them a different perspective on the matter. Because it's one thing to think, I don't want this relationship, when things are not going like they had planned, when attraction has fallen, and they feel in control as though they are the ones deciding if the relationship is or is not. That's one perspective. It's an entirely different perspective when they begin to think or be concerned that if they wanted the relationship, they could not have it. And that's when they don't feel in control anymore. And when we're not in control, we instinctively have a stronger realization of what's important. Someone who feels they could be dying, a near-death experience oftentimes is what wakes us up to what's really important. And maybe the latest clothes, the best car, things like that just don't seem quite as important as family and relationships and love. And so the recognition that they could lose you is like a near-death experience for them, and they see things differently. That's why, again, I say consider giving grace if this happens. And so the first thing that usually happens to turn the corner, to turn them back towards you, is that they feel the loss, which puts you in control. And so the tables have flipped. Now, that doesn't mean they'll contact you right away when they feel this. A lot of times that happens, but sometimes it takes more. And so that's where I get into the next step of realization that your ex will feel that can lead to them realizing they love you and wanting you back. And that is the revival of attraction. And so a large part of how this happens is that they realize you're strong enough to stay away. And some of it takes them looking at their phone, looking at the calendar and seeing it's been 5 weeks, it's been 9 weeks, it's been 2 months, 3 months, and you have stayed away. They realize you're strong enough to stay away, which is an attractive thing. So in addition to spurring the concern that they could lose you, it also raises your attraction some. And because they're not getting that flattery, that ego boost of you chasing and begging and pleading, their attraction lowers a little bit. And so you're getting these compounding factors here that are helping you to reattract your ex. And part of it is that after they feel the concern of loss, your attractiveness goes up and theirs goes down, which is the opposite of what it was at the breakup. Because when they broke up with you, the very act of breaking up with you lowers your attraction and increases theirs, because they feel like they're the ones who are dismissing you and you want to be with them, but they are rejecting you. And even if that wasn't their intention and they're a good person and they don't just want to hurt you, they still feel more attractive. And so the revival of attraction is often what gets them over that hump to contact you, to at least see if they can see you face to face, because they're wanting to try to figure this out. Maybe they think if they see you face to face, they can figure it out. They'll just see how they feel around you. And as I talk about in my emergency breakup kit, which I'll link to in the description below, this point is crucial. And that's why it's best not to ignore them, because sometimes they can actually be turned away and yet they give up simply because they think they've blown it with you. Why try? Why keep feeling this rejection? Because it shouldn't surprise you that people really don't like rejection. And it's actually something that can lower attraction. It's the mystery that can increase it. And then once you get in a relationship, you don't want to reject. You don't want to give too much mystery. You want things to be intimate and loving. But when there's question, when they pull away, that's when things are different, except for the rejection part. And you've got to be really careful. If they feel rejected, it's just all over the map in terms of how people respond. And usually it blows up in your face because the person just thinks that they've blown it, or they don't want to just risk rejection again. And so you don't hear from them and things are over. So don't reject them. Don't ignore them if they reach out. It doesn't mean that you have to respond with some sort of a thank goodness, I'm so happy you contacted me, I've been miserable. But I suggest that you respond casually, like you're talking to an old friend. That way they might feel like maybe they're getting put into the friend zone by you, which is a different matter altogether. The third thing that can bring back that sense of love, can help your ex to realize they love you, is time. Because it's not just a matter of them feeling that you're not contacting them and wondering if you're moving on. That's certainly part of it. But time also has multiple factors that help this along. And one of those things is simply looking at it, like I've already talked about, that they realize it's been that long. But also, it's sort of like after a meal. Have you ever been so full that you're even nauseous and you think, I'm never eating again? But you get hungry again. It's because your stomach gets empty again. And so, whereas when they break up with you, they kind of feel full. They've had enough of you. They feel like that it's an easy commodity, that you are an easy commodity. And so there's no desire to get more of you. And that's why you interacting with them and continuing to talk to them about the relationship does not work, because they've already had enough of you. They don't want any more of you right now. And so you're basically making yourself look less attractive because for whatever reason, they see you as less attractive right now. Whatever it is. And so in that moment, you being around them more, it has sort of a repulsive response inside of them because they feel like this unattractive version of you is making itself available constantly. And it can be repulsive. And so that's why it's so important to stay away and let things reset. And that's what this often does, is that they start to feel like they are empty of you. They miss you, especially if you two had a decent relationship that was good. And this is really what makes the other two become more powerful, is enough time passing where there's this long space that has happened since they've seen you. And so they are more tolerable. And oftentimes they're even hungry for you. And so you combine that with the other two, and that's why no contact can be so powerful so often. This has been Coach Lee. Thank you for watching.